So what you're looking at is Ukrainian drone footage, and this is an unfinished residential building in Makivka in Ukraine. It looks like the Russian army were storing a lot of ammunition in the yard, and really poorly it looks like, frankly, and the Ukrainians discovered it. It looks like it's a mix of older stuff with some newer stuff, because here soon you see some newer crates of weaponry, but just really poorly stored, really poorly defended. Not sure what the Russians are doing. Just pretty much shows what the Russian tactics are. And here's the strike. Sorry, there's no sound because it's drone footage, but I mean, pretty significant. Yeah, huge. You can see the power start to go out and surge across the area. Anyway, so there's some things that I have thoughts about this. Where are the Russian air defenses here? If that was a significant amount of ammunition, that likely was servicing a brigade-sized element in that region. And now, when that stockpile went up, that's huge amounts of explosive ordnance there. And also, where is the Russian electronic warfare capability? Because this strike was done by a drone. It's almost as if the Russians are losing the capability to manage the airspace below 2,000 feet. And that's critical when you're dealing with drone warfare and other types of, you can see a missile launch or whatever back here. Interesting. But we know from the Russian reports that the Ukrainians have switched their drone frequencies so that they can defeat Russian jammers. You would think that Russians could adapt to that quickly, but traditionally Soviet doctrine and Russian doctrine shows that they would have some sort of system guarding ammo depots, ammo storage facilities, whether it's their Tor system or their Pantsir system or Estrella, something like that. But there's nothing here, and this is a significant ammunition storage area. The lack of Russian anti-aircraft or anti-drone defenses shows that they're likely being attrited heavily by Ukrainian counter-battery fire from the Ukrainian artillery, or the jamming capability of Russia is just faltering. They just aren't able to do it as much as they were potentially even just a month ago. Interestingly, a lot of the issues that we see with the Russian military coming out of this, and here I'll restart this so y'all can watch this epic explosion again. What we see coming out of the Russian military is products of Ukraine's efforts to eliminate their logistics hub, their larger logistics hubs. Remember how I told you that about 2 weeks ago, when that major supply station near Crimea was destroyed, and the Russians would have problems with dealing with artillery, counter battery artillery, air defenses, because that's a huge explosion, because a lot of that was destroyed. This is that byproduct of that. They're unable to defend their depots in any meaningful way, and it's starting to create a domino effect where the Russians are struggling to resupply due to sanctions and different issues within the Russian economy, but also the pre-positioned stockages that Russia had in places like the Donbass and Crimea are being destroyed in advance, and this is part of the Ukrainian tactic in this war. So without any kind of short or medium range counter drone or surface to air missile systems, it looks like Ukraine is starting to gain some sort of air superiority, or at least parity at the 2,000 feet / 600 meters range, and that's why this strike in Makivka was successful. So this is a one-off situation, but it was a significant one, and if it's indicative of what the future looks like, the Ukrainian efforts to disrupt supplies, ammunition depots, etc., is going to be successful, which is going to drive the future success of a larger push with regard to this, what we're terming now kind of this long-term counteroffensive that we're going to see through the summer and early fall for the rest of this year.